Okay, now this isn't really my thing at all, but I just happened to watch this paranormal program the other day, and I thought I thought it was sort of fairly interesting. What I thought was interesting was that you got a guy here saying, "Oh, no one has been able to debunk this video." So let's just have a look at it. Now this is on the hard drive again, so this is going to be a little bit clunkier than usual, but here we go.
Say they've set up the program and the footage has been tried to be debunked by different groups and experts, but no one's been able to say there are strings or that there's green screen used. It's been amazing. The boys of the school are actually quite proud of the notoriety of being the most haunted school in the world. However, they don't want to be here at night time.
Deep in the snowy back.
Okay, so for a start, the kids are aware that the school is supposed to be haunted. Okay, now kids being kids, I think there's a very good chance that they thought they'd have a bit of a laugh, knowing that the CCTV cameras were there. So let's just have a look at a bit of the footage first of all, where they're saying that these guys can't debunk it. So let's just rewind it, and we'll have a look at this paranormal activity.
Deep in the snowy.
And so it's moving things around, just trying to get people's attention.
Deer Park CBS does have a history of the paranormal. We've had a lot of people contacting the school saying, yes, that school is haunted, and has.
Okay, so let's just first of all have a look at the windows. Okay, let's just have a look at the windows here. I did say this would be clunky, and it certainly is. Sorry about that, but it's one of them things. One of those things. Okay, so let's have a look at the windows in the place. Now it looks like the middle section of the window is the bit that opens. I can't get the pencil in focus because this is on the big screen and it's some distance away. But if you see that, see there are the vertical rectangular windows, and it looks like the middle section opens outwards. Okay, so that's what the windows of the building look like. Okay, so let's just see what we can have a look at the clip here.
Saying, yes, that school is haunted.
No such thing as a haunted school, of course.
To hold the bodies of the Deer Park.
Spirit activity, poltergeist activity is usually really common when it's built on a place where there's a lot of death, a lot of tragedy. So what's probably happening is the energy from the people that have died, it's still lingering there in the school, and so it's moving things around.
No, I really don't think so. No such thing as ghosts, no such thing as poltergeists. So, okay, well, let's just have a look at this.
And downright creepy videos of a supernatural nature that I think
Let's have a look at this clip first, and then we'll go back to the one where I think the window reference should come in.
ever seen.
Okay, so what we saw was the chair being, where's the bloody pencil? The chair being dragged across the floor from here, and it seemed to curve in a little bit over here. Now, the chair didn't leave the ground, okay? The chair was being dragged. And if we look at the bottom, we look at where it ends up. See that chair leg there? Can you see that chair leg there? ends up behind this pipe here. So you could have a very thin fishing line attached to the chair leg at the bottom and be off screen here, and then pull the fishing line, you know, from the chair with the fishing line across the floor here, because the fishing line would run around behind the pipes here. So I think that's very easy to explain. I think that's what's going to be happening there. These videos can't be debunked by anybody. I find that really hard to believe. Okay, now there is another bit here where the chair does come off the ground. Let's just have a look at that.
Seems like schools are great places for haunting because, first of all, you got children that
Yeah, got children that set all this
Keep an
up.
eye on. And more than just once.
20 days after our initial video, our cameras caught another
Oh, okay.
disturbance in the hallway upstairs
Okay.
on the
So-
third floor.
Keep an eye on the chair behind the time and date stamp in the security footage.
These
Yeah, okay. So again, that's pretty clunky. That's not like a spirit or an invisible person lifting the chair up. The chair is actually being dragged up the wall, and I suggest there's going to be another very thin fishing line tied round the chair leg, going up over a pipe and then back towards someone that's out of shot, and similarly with the thing flying off the top of the cabinet. Because very thin fishing line has got a really good breaking strain. It's very hard to see, very, very hard to see, and I think that's what that's all about. Now let's just have a look at the other clip. Honestly, can't believe that these paranormal investigators find this impossible to debunk, because it looks entirely bunk to me. Let's just go back to the first clip.
videos or
So during the summer we had just put in new CCTV cameras. So I went back and looked at the footage and I saw what is in the video. We reviewed the footage before and after, and there's no evidence of setup.
back in the early days of paranormal investigation, we didn't have a lot of the tools that we have today. Right now, there's a camera.
Okay, let's see if we can get a better. Let's see if we can
The
get
deputy principal of Deer Park CBS, which is now known as the world's most haunted.
a better look at that footage.
It was a Monday and the school was actually closed, so the principal was in that day. And when he went up to the second floor, he saw there was a disturbance there. A locker had been opened and there was paper strewn across the floor. So during the summer, we had just put in new CCTV cameras. So I went back and looked at the footage and I saw what is in the video. We reviewed the footage before and after, and there's no evidence of setup.
Back in the early days of paranormal investigation, we didn't have a lot of the tools that we have today.
Okay, so, oops.
So the principal was in that day, and when he went, so I went back and looked at the footage, and I
Right. So what we have here is, it starts off, we don't actually see it in this clip, but it's two. It's the same clip, but it says look at the door in the distance, and the door opens towards us and then slams shut. So there could be a person behind the door. That doesn't really show anything at all. Now, what I think is interesting about this is, and I'm really surprised that no one's picked up on it, is the filing cabinet that's rocking around, this one here, is by the window. Remember the vertical windows? The middle section opens at the bottom. So if this was slightly open at the bottom, this window, and you put a broom handle or something through there, an upward angle, you would be rocking this cabinet. you'd be pushing against the top and rocking this cabinet, which is exactly what we see in this video. This is rocking forwards. Be a bit harder to explain if it was this one, because there's no window there, but because there's a window there, I think it'd be very easy to just have the window slightly ajar, stick a broom handle through there and be pushing this forward and rocking it. Similarly with the locker, bit of fishing line, and similarly with this, a bit of fishing line around the bottom, and someone off camera just giving it a sharp tug, and we see what happens. So I think, to be honest with you, I think it's very weak. I think it's very easy to debunk.
So what is in the video? We reviewed the footage before and after, and there's no evidence of setup.
Back in the early days of paranormal investigation, we didn't have a lot of the tools that we have.
I mean, really, I know that this is... Okay, here it is. Here's the better clip.
Something seriously spooky. Keep an eye on the doors in the back.
Someone could easily be behind that door.
This spirit was only just getting started.
There's the rocking of the cabinet by the window. Bit of fishing line here, maybe. And here, around the bottom of that.
The mess left behind by the ghost, or whatever it wasn't discovered by staff until the next morning.
So there we go. I mean, I saw that, and this is just one of these paranormal programs, and I just happened to see that. And when he said that, it's been looked at by several paranormal groups, I thought, and it can't be debunked, there's no evidence of any kind of setup. I thought, well, the slightest bit of analysis to it, and you can see exactly how it was done. The chair being dragged across the floor with the leg going up against the pipe. It's obviously being dragged across the floor by, a very thin bit of fishing line that's running behind the pipe. Someone's pulling it off screen, So, the same thing with the chair going up and being dragged up the wall. Exactly the same thing. There's probably a pipe. Schools often have pipes running along corridors, along the walls and along the ceilings, don't they? So that's what that's going to be. And of course the cabinet, it has to be the one in front of the window that's rocking. Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous, bloody nonsense. And of course the students know that the school's got a reputation for being haunted. And they know it's got a new CCTV system. So they're going to have a bit of fun, aren't they? Really. I mean, all right, well, a much clunkier video than usual. Apologies for that. And as I said at the start, this is not really my thing. As far as I'm concerned, there are no ghosts, there are no poltergeists, there are no hauntings. It's all rubbish. Absolute bloody rubbish. But I just thought I'd do a very quick video there, simply because he said, it's been looked at by paranormal societies and looked at by different people. No one can debunk it. So I thought, okay, let's have a go at debunking it. As always, thanks for watching. Perhaps I'll catch you again.